Come on and tell your story. Come on and tell your story. Come on and tell your story. Motivated every day. Living in victory every day. Living in victory every day. No matter what they say. No matter what they say. Living in victory every day. Living in victory every day. No matter what they say. Living in victory every day.
Nicole Larsen L.I.V.E, living in victory every day.
Challenges, adjustments, investment, support, success. In isolation, these may seem like random words, but our guests knit them all together today as they share their journey in the realm of business.
It may have been along with my husband. Initially, when we traveled and we looked at the opportunities, and he said, well, you can probably start this, in your country, start this home, starting back home and see how it's going to go.
Didn't you have a waka?
Yes, I used to borrow a waka.
You used to borrow a waka. And then you said to him, why don't you purchase? Or she purchased a waka for you.
Yes.
Listen to me. Look now, man. Yeah.
And from there with my ego, I went and I buy one.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, Mr. Suruj Raghunath, CEO of CTS College, joins us with some transitional information. And author June Doyle shares a motivational message, so stay with us. Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries, call 628-7407 or 622-5826.
Gen Style customizes cards, limitless in expressions. For special occasions, call 1-868-7N-Style. Instagram Gen Style Cards TT, Facebook at Gen Style.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
I've got a special guest with us, and she is Nurse June Issac. I want to welcome you to Nicole Larsen L.I.V.E. Pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And a little birdie told me that you are celebrating 32 years in nursing.
Yes. Today is actually the day that I started my journey in nursing, along with about 54 other of my colleagues, and we are celebrating today 32 years being in nursing, that wonderful profession.
You've got such a beautiful smile. You radiate. And I'm saying to myself, this must have done pretty well for you. And still, as a nurse in the nursing profession, that calm and that comforting demeanor.
Yes, well, I'm not too sure exactly where the smiling or the excessive smiling started, but it was, a pleasure, in terms of working with patients, and you can provide them with that warmth and that comfort, in their times when it's very difficult for them.
In the business of comforting and caring for persons, how you maneuvered into being a business owner?
Well, there are many roads that led to that. To me, since I was a child, I always had that sort of entrepreneurial spirit, because I always was, I came from a single parent home where it was just my mom. And, many times, she wouldn't have the funds or she wouldn't have the money to send me places that I really wanted to go. So she sent me to learn a lot of handicraft, icing and cakes, and even doing macrame and all of those things. And those were my little startup in terms of, generating my own little funds, So I think that started from way back, So when I decided to go into this business, it was almost natural for me.
But you know what? You say decided to go into this business, but from what I understand, even though you were going into it, you did not think it would have blown up to this magnitude, did you?
No, not at all. Not at all. My business started as I was telling someone before. It was just bringing in the scrubs, because I worked in this unit where there was a big demand for it, and there weren't much places in Trinidad that sold the medical scrubs that we wore. The hospitals would bring in a few, and they were just limited. So it was when I went abroad, I saw, the vast and, how the stores are nicely arranged and all of that. And I said to my husband, we can probably try. I'd probably bring in a few. So we brought in a few.
So you did a little suitcase trade,
yes,
kind of.
Yes, It was a suitcase full, literally a suitcase. And I brought it to my friends, and everybody scattered it, took like crazy. So that was, where I may have tested my market to see, whether or not it's...
So this was pre-COVID?
This was before 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before 2010.
So you started the business
in 2010.
In 2010.
And when I started the business, there was one store that started in Port of Spain. And if you know that nurses are all over the country needing this, so I started one in San Fernando. I started a very small branch in San Fernando, one little, room that I could have managed at least initially. So I started in San Fernando, and it took some time to get off the ground, but once persons started recognizing that there's an outlet that they can get these uniforms, we started to go, we started to move.
So at the start of COVID-19 is where your business boomed.
Well, we were able to boom during COVID-19 because one of the products that we sold, we realized that at that point in time, everybody wanted, all of the hospitals needed scrubs, needed medical uniforms. And they reached out to us, remember at that time, worldwide. The healthcare was the major industry that was actually functioning. And because of the whole virus and the whole contamination, they needed to use, or they needed to frequently change those scrubs and those uniforms and all of that. So we had a demand for our scrubs. We went online, we had a demand for
Were you able to keep up?
It was very hard, but when we look at it, it was enjoyable. It was very hard, we were online, night, day, and, it took a toll on us, but we knew that we had to do it because we had to make sure that we meet the needs of our healthcare workers.
I want you to just give us a couple more tips to persons that are listening right now that feel, I want to get into business. And this lady who is talking, this nurse with a smile, she seems to have the business acumen I need.
Well, it's hard work. It's hard work. It is actually, a part of it is a part of your life, it is a part of your schedule. You have to make sure that you have time to put in there. You have to always be dynamic. You always have to have new ideas to keep things going, because sometimes there are times when sales are a bit slow and you have to realize, oh no, we need to pick up because we have our bills to pay, you know, and we would do something that, you know, is going to generate, it's going to bring in the advertisements. I was sometimes very timid because of the cost of advertising, you know, but initially starting small, you know, word of mouth, very, very important. Customer service, very, very important, because when we didn't use digital advertising or any other means, our customers were the ones that told another person word of mouth. When you enter a market, you're going to have a number of other persons following you there. So I got emails asking for, that said to me that other persons in my country wanted to start a business too. They said that we are not going to give anybody else in your country the authorization. You are going to be the authorized agent so that you can grow your business. And I was like, you know, this is amazing, because who's going to do that? You know, most companies are all about money, you know, and they were there and they wanted to make sure that I could grow my business. So if anybody else had to enter, they had to come through me.
That is favor.
It is.
That's favor.
It is. It is favor of God.
Yeah. This has gone beyond your wildest expectation.
It has.
Yeah. You know, in our conversation before, I hear you saying, you know, I wanted a business, I thought about it, but I never would have thought that it would have reached to this magnitude as it were.
Yeah.
You know, so we want to give people some tips and some guidelines as to how to maneuver business, you know, the pitfalls and so forth, because I'm believing that there were some times where you might have second-guessed yourself and said, I wonder, but yet you continued on.
Well, one of the first tips that I would give is, yes, we think about business as being something that is, you know, very structural and very, you know, it falls within the statutory government-wise and all of that. Because when I started my business, I went through the whole process, going to register and all of those things, you know, and then I had to learn a lot along the way. But I got a lot of, I would say, ideas from God. It came, you know, like that. You know, he would suggest, he would state, I would feel, I remember saying that the first week that we had opened our store, it was not a lot of, we didn't have a lot of customers coming in at that point in time, because I didn't know about advertising and all of those things. And we made probably about $600 at that time, and I gave all in my offering to God that week. I gave all, so it was even a big start where he would have, you know, as we would say, he would get 100-fold in terms of that. So one of the first tips is putting God in the midst of it, and he's going to direct you. Another tip would be, in terms of you making sure that your business is in line legally.
Tell me a little bit about him downloading to you your steps.
Well, I believe it may have been along with my husband. Initially, when, you know, we traveled and we looked at the opportunities, you know, and he said, well, you know, you can probably start this, you know, in your country, you know, start it back home and see how it's going to go. And I think God allowed me to get, you know, the finance, you know, where it may have come from, I don't know, but we were able to put that together to get the first start. In terms of shipping and all of those things, I didn't know anything about those. I didn't know. So I believe, you know, a lot of the ideas and even where I searched for the information would have come under the influence of God. You know, we pray a lot. And, you know, we depend a lot on God to direct us because we didn't really have that knowledge. I didn't come from a business background, really, you know, that. So I had to depend on, you know, on God.
You have given us some great tips. I want to thank you so much for being part of Nicole Larsen Live, Living in Victory every day. And if there's anybody listening right now, and of course viewing, they want to get in contact with you. They want to find out more about what you're offering.
Oh yes, my phone number is available because I'm always willing to help anybody else. My number is 469-9545. If you visit any of my branches, you can ask any of my employees, and they can probably even call at that point in time, and I would have a conversation with them, and you know, we can always meet further on. I'm always happy to help.
Thank you, and we're happy to have you. Thank you so very much.
It was my pleasure being here. It was.
It's Nicole Larsen Live, living in victory every day. More still to come. Didn't you have a waka?
Yes, I used to borrow a waka.
You used to borrow a waka. And then you said to him, why don't you purchase? Or she purchased a waka for you.
Yes.
Listen to me. Look now, man. Yeah.
And from there, with my ego, I went and I buy one.
Yeah.
You know?
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826. Welcome back. We have the Smalls in studio with us. I'm so delighted to have this couple. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
All smiles. I like to hear about romance and relationships and how you all met. Look, he's looking at you already. He's probably saying, no, you have to take this one. That's why we're going to ask him. Tell me, even before we start talking about the business side of it, how did you meet this lovely lady?
Okay, I met Adalia, yes, actually at a karaoke. I was introduced to her by my good friend, JL, right? And I used to sing in karaoke's a lot. And so I brought them on to see my performance on that day. And the rest is history.
Wow. Well, I'm seeing the glint in your eyes, so it obviously has to be. And you know why I'm asking you that question? Because we had a little conversation before, Adalia, with hubby. And one of the things he said, and that impacted me, he says, if it was not for my wife, I would not be where I am today. Yeah, he did. He said it. He said, I had probably the potential, but she was the one who pushed me. Yeah. She saw what I needed, and she was able to bring it out of me. So I say hats off to you as well for knowing a good thing and putting a ring on it, and you knowing a good man and seeing the potential. Yes, so let's talk. Tell me, when you met him and he said, you know, I want to get into business, or I am in business, what were your thoughts on that?
Being around him and realizing that he loves agriculture or doing something around the house. And I was like, why not make the business standard and official? I know that's where we started to I started to speak to him and tell him a lot about registering the business and putting things in place.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm hearing from you is that, you know, you can have the business acumen or you may have the talent, but it takes two to come together to make it happen.
Yes, you need a support system.
Yeah, you need that support. So you got that support from your wife.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So you're into agriculture at first.
Yes.
How did you start into agriculture?
Agriculture, from a child growing up, I grew up in a single-parent home. My mom always used to be planting around the house. So I grew a passion and a love for agriculture. And from there, I went through all the steps. Through secondary school, then I did YAPA, that is Youth Apprenticeship Program in Agriculture. I did YAPA 1 and YAPA 2. I went up to ECIAF, which is Eastern Correctional, no, not Eastern Correctional, Eastern Caribbean Institute in Agriculture and Forestry.
So you wanted to find out everything about agriculture.
Yes.
You wanted to be well versed. You saw that as important. And I'm glad you're saying that as well, because there are people that are listening and they want to get into anything. It could be agriculture, anything, but they don't realize you have a lot of work to do. I'll tell you something. You see, I did my research. While you all were courting, remind me, he said to me that he had a waka. Didn't you have a waka?
Yes, I used to borrow a waka.
You used to borrow a waka. And then you said to him, why don't you purchase? Or she purchased a waka for you.
Yes.
Listen to me. Look now, man. Yeah.
And from there with my ego, I seen, I went and I buy one.
Yeah.
You know? I went and I buy one.
Yeah.
So that I could say, well, yes, I bought one for myself.
Yeah.
So she more or less encouraged me to start. And from there, I just started buying more equipment. And, right, to make the work easy.
Yeah.
He surpassed me when it comes to getting all his equipment. He went advanced, getting proper machinery and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just more like, you know, own something for yourself instead of renting.
Correct.
You know? So that was the first step. I didn't realize it would have reached that far, though.
Wow. We are talking COVID, you know. This was when everything shut down and everybody was saying, nobody know the trouble I see. And there you are, starting a business.
Yes.
And we weren't even married at that point, so it was kind of like a step of faith, and I was kind of like, oh gosh, I wonder if I'm doing the right thing, but I just trusting God with it, and I was like, you know what, he seems like a really nice person, let me make that investment.
God. This is supposed to be a show about entrepreneurship and business, and you're getting me sidetracking, man. You know, I love the relationship type of. So you said you prayed about it.
Yes.
You prayed about him. So it wasn't just a pretty face and handsome and have ambition. You decided, let me go to God and find out who this man is, yes?
I asked questions too.
Yeah, you
have
did.
To do, yes.
Oh, I love it.
I have to ask her.
Yeah, and he passed the test.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and what about you? Did you ask around? Did you find out who is this lovely young lady? I mean, you knew she can sing. Did you sing well at the karaoke bar? That's the question. Did she pass the test?
No.
Oh, you were the singer, right?
No,
okay.
Actually, I used to do, well, I still do singing, but not at like bars and stuff again. I used to go, like, I used to do karaoke. And in doing the karaoke host would employ me to bring a crowd.
But you in business long time.
So
this is good.
Yes, I used to do it that way.
So when you say employee, you used to have to meet people and tell them about this place and the karaoke, that kind of thing?
No, it would be like I come in and I would sing.
Yeah.
Just like any normal person in the karaoke, I would come and sing there. So with people hearing my voice, they would start to gravitate towards that venue.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I do that for like a month, real people.
Wow. Let me ask you something. Can he sing?
Yes, you need to hear it.
Are you serious? He can sing. And not only saying so because he's a hobby, because we know he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur and all of that. He can sing too. Yeah. So when you heard his voice, and I know this is supposed to be about agriculture and business, but you know I'm going there. Okay. So when you heard him first sing, what did you say to yourself?
Well, I didn't show the fact that I'm racist.
I love you.
I was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Typical. And why we like that boy? That time you're saying, oh my gosh, this man's singing good. But you call him no.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, just play cool. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he could sing.
Wow. And who would have thought that? Who would have thought that you both would now be business owners and doing so very well, so much so that we want you to give keys and steps and guidelines to people that might be listening, whether they be young, old, or indifferent, you know? And one of the things, and that's why I like this program, is that we want to highlight people who are doing well, who have fallen, some who want to, but don't know how to. Because I believe it's important to have transparency. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation on transparency and those keys.
Yes.
Nicole Larsen L.I.V.E, we're living in victory every day. Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Welcome back. We are with the Smalls, Brendon and Adalia, and of course we heard your before story, how you met, how karaoke played that role, and also how you, Adalia, would have played that role in hubby's life in terms of getting him started in business, you know, seeing what he needed and so forth. And as I've said before, we want people who are listening to understand how to get into business, maybe the pitfalls, the key pointers and that kind of thing, so that you all are just the right couple to do that. Okay. So who wants to take the first question? Brendon says yes. Brendon, talk to me. So that we are seeing that the business is doing pretty well. You defied the odds again because it was COVID. But tell us how you did it. Tell us about the struggles, the challenges, what you had to do, what you had to stop doing, as it were.
Okay, well, for me, I think what I had to stop do was to tell everybody yes, right? I was always a yes man. So in being a yes man now, I'll tell everybody, Yes, I will be able to help you, but I'll come back just now. And that now in itself, I had a lot of work pile up. So then people are saying, well, boy, you're always busy, we can't get here when we want you. Adalia come in and kind of sort of add structure to it. So
in what way did she add structure? Because it seems as though what I'm getting from you, you didn't want to disappoint anybody. So even though your plate full, you will still say, yeah man, I come in. But she says no.
Yes.
You don't do that. Right, Adalia?
Yes, correct.
You set, yeah. So tell me how you were able to set him right there.
Well, definitely setting a schedule and different zones to different areas. So you can't play like you're going to south and then you want to go to the east. So putting a clear structure and letting people know that they can leave a name and contact number and we'll get back to you so you can think through your day as to what you want to do. Not saying yes to everybody. And then they're expecting you to come and then you don't come. You know? So it was more helping them with that part of it, structure.
Another challenge would have been in terms of workers, getting the right worker to do the job. Some workers are coachable, some are not.
If you have a friend or a long-lost cousin who you love, bless his fuzzy little heart, but if he does not fit the business, you can't have him in the business.
Yeah, because it represents us too. So if you are someone, we send you to a job and you know, you have attitude or you're smoking or something, then they wouldn't want you to come back on their property and then we lose out because you're representing us. So that was a challenge, and sometimes it could still be a challenge, but we are able to pinpoint those personality types from a distance now.
You too, when you see them from far, you say, not angry with you at all. Apart from the agriculture side of it, how did that come about with the landscaping?
I used to use landscaping to fund my education. My education was in agriculture. So with using the landscaping to fund my agricultural part of my life, I started to grow a love for it as well. Like this is rainy season now, it's kind of difficult to cultivate the land. So landscaping now, I started to do that on my off season, right? And I just develop a love for it, and I just do it all year round now.
Isn't that something? So you actually have two businesses, correct? Apart from the agriculture now with the landscaping. And you spoke about wanting to fund your education. Speak to that for us.
I grew up in a single parent home. So education is something that I needed to have to come out of my situation back then. And when I graduated from EKIAF, I thought I would get a job one time, right? It didn't happen that way. So I applied for land. At that time, Caroni was advertising land. And at top the interview, I got through the land.
Look.
And
get through.
Get through. My boy topped the interview. Boy.
So from there, I got the land now, but it was no infrastructure. Money was an issue, right? So I went back to landscaping because now I can't cultivate the land because I don't have the money to start up. And no institution are going to lend you no money just like that, right? I started to teach agriculture in schools like Surf Hall and community-based groups, right? That is under food production, Ministry of Food Production. I was a training facilitator, so I used to teach agriculture there. From there now, well, I started to get income, so I started to buy little small equipment, as the case may be. I went back into agriculture full-time because we would have lost our jobs in 2015, right? And within that 4-year period from 2015 to 2019, I was more or less self-employed doing farming, right? And when Adalia came in 2019, I started to take the landscaping a little more serious.
Yeah.
Because she saw the business side of it.
Yes.
Right? And I was more like, I do a yard today, I do a yard next week. So she started to bring structure to it. I get a vehicle. You know. From there, I started to buy all my equipment as the case may be.
And not only are you into the physical agriculture, you have an online business.
Yes.
Tell me how that started.
Well, initially it started in 2015, but I did I did a degree in Jamaica called Digital Media Production. So it was a wide range of areas from video, television, social media, graphic design, motion graphics. And from there, coming back to Trinidad in 2018, I pushed forward with my brand called Adalia Designs. So what it does, we help, I say we because it's a team of us, we help businesses grow when it comes to social media and creating a nice aesthetic for their business online, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, any of the social media platforms. So the team, we have videographers who will bring your message alive. So we build banging brands. That's one of the taglines.
Wow. Did you think in the early years that you would have been a business owner? Was that one of your goals?
Initially, when I started to work probably as an administrative assistant, I didn't think I would have owned a business.
Why is that?
I think I wasn't open, or I never got that knowledge about that area of stuff. So it was more like the structure, you work this 8 to 4, get a government job, you're secure, in inverted commas, you know? So I think I had that mindset from growing up. And then I started to do research and realized that there are business owners out there that are successful. And I got a little fed up of working for people. It's a good start. It's not a saying that something is wrong with it. It's a good start. I learned a lot when it comes to business side. And eventually I said to myself, you know what, Adalia, I could do this. Let me branch off and go on my own.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I know a lot of persons who have been viewing have been encouraged by you. God richly bless you.
Thank you.
This has been Nicole Larsen Live, Living in Victory every day. More still to come. From the desk of June Doyle,
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WASN,
the content capital.
Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
Gen Style customizes cards, limitless in expressions. For special occasions, call 1-868-7N-STYLE. Instagram Gen Style Cards TT, Facebook @Gen Style.
Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826. And now, let's hear from today's expert, CEO of CTS College, Mr. Suraj Raghunath, as he shares on the need for business transformation to adapt to challenging times.
It's no secret that many businesses have had to close or maybe scale back on their operations as a result of the impact of COVID. And some are still struggling to get their feet back on the ground. What is important is that we, especially for those who are in business, that we need to go back on what business has taught us, the resilience that business has taught us. We would have taken risks before in order to get into business. So diversification is always an option, looking at what the market demands as against what you want. And that again comes back to flexibility, understanding the environment in itself. And if it is you have to be retrained or to hire a consultant to get yourself to where you need to be, maybe you need some mentoring, get that. There's nothing wrong with those things. And it doesn't matter who you are, we all need some form of support in order to continue to navigate the way forward. And it does not mean that you are less of a person or that you don't know what you are doing if it is you endless help. I think it's wise things to do. The wise thing to do. At the end of the day, the wise seek counsel. In this world today, we are living in a very exciting time. The times are very dynamic, things are changing around us at the drop of a hat. And technology continues to challenge us. But not only is technology challenging us, but the changes in the world, in our global environment, is also challenging us in a significant way. And in order to survive in this environment, it is very important that we have a flexible mindset. And a flexible mindset is required simply because in order for us to adapt and adjust to what's happening around us and to be able to successfully navigate the different opportunities we have and the different routes that we have to travel, we need to be flexible in our thinking. So we may have predetermined destinations or goals that we are striving for, and situations may be changing around us so very quickly. It's like being out in the ocean and the winds blow contrary. What is important is that we need to have flexible sails so that we can adjust those sails to catch the wind to take us to where we need to go. And sometimes where we want to go may not always be within our control, but having flexibility in our thinking, we would be able to pivot. And that is very, very important in surviving in today's challenging economic environment, global environment. And it's important, therefore, if it's one thing that I would advise anyone in business today, you need to have a flexible mindset. And I'm speaking from experience because here at CTS College, before the lockdown, thinking about going online. So we already had that mindset of moving with the flow and going in the direction that the world was basically heading. And COVID kind of just accelerated that change. But what was important for us is understanding the need to change, and we changed very quickly.
And now some motivation and inspiration from the desk of June Doyle.
Someone said, all the trees are losing their leaves, and not one of them is worried. What a great quote. There is so much we can learn from observing nature. Nature teaches us there are seasons to life. Once you accept the varied seasons as they come, your perspective on life changes. Like a tree, you have survived every kind of harsh weather. To believe that you can flourish again after a major catastrophe may be difficult, but by the grace of God, you will flourish again like a palm tree. No one has control over the way the wind blows, but you who know God will be strong and not lose hope. If you put gratitude at the center of your life, you will see God everywhere. Make it a habit to be grateful for big mercies and small mercies, and your language will change. This is June Doyle, author and motivational speaker, signing out. Keep hope alive. Let's make the world a better place for you and for me and for everyone.
thank all our guests today, from our business owners June Issac of Scrub City and Adalia and Brendon Small of Small's Landscape Agriscape. Insightful transformational practices from CEO of CTS College, Serju Raghunath, and motivational tips from the desk of June Doyle. Thank you for taking the time today, allowing me to share these moments in time with you. Until next time, wishing you a blessed and victorious week from Nicole Larsen L.I.V.E, living in victory every day.